Hello, everyone out there. Hello and welcome, California State employees. We are so excited to get started on our first tutorial. We have a live tutorial here with Benjamin Acedo, our Promise manager. And I'm Kyla Aquino Irving, part of the Our Promise team. And today we're going to look at how exactly to create your account, in case you are wondering. And also, we'll go through all the other things like making edits or changes to your account as well. Ben, it has been a long time coming for us to get this digital platform, and we were lucky enough to get it off and running last year. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, well, for you folks that may not know, the Our Promise campaign has actually been putting pledge forms on your desk since 1957. And so nowadays that we actually have these portals and systems that we can have databases on, the state has been pretty slow to make those changes. So just last year, the state controller's office, who pays you out, they decided that they also needed a portal too, because of course everyone's stuck in quarantine at home. So the state controller's office made something called Cal Employee Connect. And so that is an online portal where you can have your, you can get your payroll checked, you can check your sick hours, your vacation hours. And in tandem with that, while State Controller's Office was developing their system, we said, well, we have the tools and the capabilities to have a system like that for your giving too. So we kind of catapulted along with State Controller's Office. And so you can actually access your Our Promise ePledge portal through your Cal Employee Connect profile. It's super easy. It just takes a couple of minutes. And as you know, it gives you the ability to donate to any nonprofit of your choice, as long as they have a valid tax ID through your payroll deduction.
And the great thing about our partnership with these big, our SEO and Department of Technology, is that you can rest assured that your donation and all of your private information is secure.
Yes, and that's actually
people want to know.
That was one of the big security issues. Was they were like, is this secure? Is this something that is going to be protected? Because if you were a state employee before last year, you would know that the only qualifying identification that you have is your social security number. And that's the number that we would use in tandem with the state controller's office to have your payroll deducted. Needless to say, the Department of Technology and everybody did not want those numbers just floating around everywhere. So last year, along with the CEC portal, state controller's office gave every single state employee a unique identifying number, or a UEID. So using this UEID, we were able to make the ePledge portal more safe and more secure. So that was a really big step in the progression of the ePledge campaign.
Awesome. Well, before we get started, I want to remind folks that you can ask questions in our chat if you're watching right now through Facebook Live. And if you are watching this on demand, you can always email us. Ben, what's the best email for general questions?
The best email for general questions would be ourpromiseca@uwccr.org. Again, that's ourpromiseca@uwccr.org.
All right. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So if we're
Fantastic.
Signing up for the first time, where do we get started?
Well, you would get started here. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. You would get started on your Cal Employee Connect profile. So it's the CEC, or you see in the top left, it says Cal Employee Connect. The URL is connect.sco.ca.gov/login. So you want to get there. Hopefully, if you haven't created a CEC profile yet, I would highly recommend doing so. When you get there, of course, we have a dummy account for this demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and start. You click, you put in your user ID, put in your password, and then hit connect. So what that does is that takes us to this main page. It talks about the next payday, the leave balances, earnings summary, all of that. And in the top left right, you can see the user profile, which is my name, John D. Doe, not an actual person. But yes, so when you click user profile, that'll take you to this page here, your portal info. It's got your email address, your contact info, zip code, everything. And so when you head down to the bottom of this user profile page, you're going to see the ePledge site button right here under the Our Promise banner. So when you click this, if you're a brand new donor that has not yet made any sort of portal, you are going to have to make one, whether you are a current donor or have not yet made a donation at all. So essentially, what we need to do is connect your current existing donation with your UEID, your profile. So that's what you would do with the very first time you signed up if you did have a donation. But we're going to show a demonstration at the moment for if you don't have a donation.
Got it.
So what's going to happen is when you click the ePledge site button, you want to use the following. It's of course your employee ID, but it's going to be just not pre-filled. It's going to be whatever numbers you need. After that, you click Go to Our Promise. I'm not going to do that because this is just a test site. It won't take me anywhere. But when you click Go to Our Promise, that's going to take you. Hold on a second. That's going to take you to this page here. So it's going to say Keeping California Strong for All. You see the Our Promise banner in the top left. Of course, it's got these beautiful poppies back here. You're going to enter your employee ID that you copied. Make sure you click the reCAPTCHA to demonstrate that you're not a robot. And then click Submit. So again, this is the demonstration for a brand new employee or an employee who doesn't have a donation at all and has not yet made a profile. So what's going to happen is it's going to create a profile for them. So that's why it says register/create an account. So now you have you'll have a profile created and a way to access that through your portal. So I'm going to enter all of my information. So actually, since I've already filled this out so many times, it pre-fills my address for me. You do want to make sure that you have your email provider up because you are going to need to access your email address to get a PIN that it sends you. We're just going to go ahead and say btest21 is your user ID. You must make a unique user ID that no one's ever used before. Then, of course, enter your password. Make sure you have all of your contact info and your home zip code here in this field over here. But at the very bottom, you want to put the worksite zip code. The reason you want to put that is because we track your donations by location and by your work location, not your home location, because it's a workplace campaign, not a home place campaign. So since I work in 95827, I will fill that information there. And once you have all the proper information filled, you're going to click Create Account. Oh, it says if you click the button and it doesn't pop up with anything, it's because you haven't filled out all the information you need to. For instance, I didn't even put my name. So I've got Benjamin S. Acedo. So now everything should be filled. And I'm going to click Create Account again. And there it goes. So it pops up with this here, this prompt. It's saying that it sent an email to your email address with your PIN. Now keep in mind, it might send it to your spam folder. So you'll want to check your spam if you're not receiving that email. So I received it, 398394, and it will confirm. So what it's going to ask me to do one more time is enter my user ID that I just created and my password. So that's btest21. All right. So me as an employee without a state donation yet, I'd like to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and start an online pledge. So when you click sign in, it's going to give you three different options. There's payroll deduction, there's the one-time gift option, and then I do not wish to give it this time. First, we're going to go over the payroll deduction section. There is a minimum for how much a state employee can give to each nonprofit designation. That minimum is $5 per month per nonprofit. So you can't just have, oh, I want to do $5 minimum, but give it to 5 different nonprofits. No, unfortunately, it would have to be a minimum of $5 per nonprofit. And with that in mind, I'd like to give $10 a month to do 2 different nonprofits. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 10, and it will actually auto-populate with how many pay periods a year I have. So it'll give a total annual pledge of 120. So far, I've put in my dollar amount, but I haven't said what nonprofits I'd like it to go to. So you'll see here, the total pledge is 120, but the total undesignated is that full amount. I don't have any dollars designated. So we're going to keep on scrolling down to the nonprofit keyword search page. So there's a nonprofit that I really like called Front Street Animal Shelter, and it's actually where I got my dog. And I really want to help support them. So they have a nonprofit called Friends of Front Street Animal Shelter. If you type in just a portion of the nonprofit, you can search that way as well. So you don't have to type the whole name in. If you just know a couple of words, you can try to type those and see if it pops up. So I typed in Friends of Front Street Shelter, and there they are. I have to confirm to make sure they're my proper nonprofit. They have the OP code that I know that is the designator for Friends of Front Street. Every nonprofit that's in the Our Promise campaign has an OP code. So if you want to take a look on the Our Promise website, you can search for nonprofits and get their OP code. You can also search that way as well. There's many different ways you can search. So I confirmed that this is the OP code that I know that Friends of Front Street has. And I even confirmed their details. Yes, this is them here in Sacramento. So after I have them here on my list, you're going to click select, and that's going to add them to your nonprofit designations. But you're not quite done yet. You have to designate how much you'd like to give to them per year. So since I want to give $60 per year, I'm going to put in 60. The last thing that you want to do before that is click the plus sign. So if you'll notice, I've added them to the total designated right here of $60. So 60 is still left undesignated. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our second nonprofit. Let's just say, I'm actually going to open this up for any questions at the moment. Does anybody have any questions? Or are there any questions popping up in the feed?
I don't see any questions yet, but my question is, what if they're not listed with an OP code? What do we do next?
That is a very good question. So if they're not listed with an OP code, what we're going to do is we've searched them, tried to find as much as we could of them, and unfortunately we still couldn't find them. Where do we go? We just want to scroll down. So there's a write-in section button right here. You just want to scroll down to there, and you have to click the button to make it open up. As I mentioned, you can donate to any nonprofit that's under Our Promise, as long as you have their name, their tax ID, and their address, of course, because we have to know where to send the check. Of course, it's going to ask for your annual amount as well. That's the very first thing it asks for, so I'm putting in 60. You'd put the nonprofit's name, like Sam's Hospital, and then you'd put their address and their tax ID. And after that, you have to make sure that it's a 9-digit tax ID. All tax IDs are 9 digits. So if they're giving you a smaller number, you have to say, well, I need 9 digits on here.
Right.
And then after that, you'd click add. Then it would add them up to this top list right here. And as you can see, it says total designated 120. So once that happens and you click add, then you're set. You've got all your designations listed. What you would do after that is go to confirm your contact info. Make sure that the home address is correct. These 4 buttons down at the bottom are pretty important. If you would like your nonprofit to acknowledge your pledge, you do have to make sure this button is clicked because it automatically comes out unclicked. So just make sure that you're clicking this button so that they acknowledge your pledge. If you want to receive, if you want to receive a contact email, please make sure you click this second button right here. If you did want to receive news from Our Promise that you, Kyla, would be supplying for people who are interested, make sure you have that third button clicked. And the last one has to do with retirement. So if you are retiring soon and you still want your donation to continue into retirement through your CalPERS pension, we actually can make that switch for you. You just have to make sure to let us know that you are retiring, and then we manually on our side make the switch from your state controller's office payment to your CalPERS payment. So those are the 4 last buttons to check. And then you would click confirm. It would send you your confirmation email, and you'd be set. If you did want to give a one-time gift, let's just say you're like, you know what, I actually do want to give just all at once instead of $10 a month, you can click the one-time gift. What's very cool is that if you already filled out the payroll deduction section, the one-time gift section auto-populates with all the information you've already listed. So that makes it very useful. The only thing that's different about the one-time gift section is payment authorization. Of course, we need your credit card info. I'm not going to go over that because I'm sure that all of us have had our fair share of credit card fields filled out because of the quarantine. The one thing that I will mention is to make sure that your postcode, your zip code that you put in your contact info for your card is the same as what your bank has on file. We actually had an issue last year where many people were putting their zip code that was, I guess, newer than the one they had on file with their bank, and their cards were being declined. So that's one thing to check to make sure when you're doing a one-time gift. So then at the very end, you will click confirm and pay. And one thing to differentiate between payroll deduction and a one-time gift is when you enter the payroll deduction screen and you click confirm, you won't see the deductions on your paycheck start to occur until your December 31st pay warrant. So it takes a couple of months. Also, there's a huge influx of pledge request changes in this time of year. So we ask all donors not to expect any changes to take place until the December 31st pay warrant. That being said, when you're giving a credit card gift, if you just click confirm and pay, you're charged at that moment because of course you can't really confirm and then have a payment come out 2 months later. It does charge you at that time. So you'll, on the next business day, you will see on your statement that the money will be taken out. Then the last button is, let's just say you went through all this and you're like, I'm really happy I filled out my profile, but unfortunately I just decided I can't give at this time. That's fine. All you'd have to do is go to the third button at the very top and say, I do not wish to give at this time. Then it just checks to confirm your home email address and you click confirm. Then, you don't have to give, but you have your profile created so that at any other time you wanted to, you could make a gift.
All right. And then you can always re-sign on the next year, right?
That is very true. Sometimes folks, if they do want to just stop their gift for a year, they can, and they can just sign up. That can actually sign up at any time of the year, not just during campaign season. So one thing to keep in mind. I actually do want to demonstrate, if you'll pardon me stopping sharing for a second. What if you're a current donor? You're like, hey, I'm a donor. I've been a donor for 2 or 3 years now, but I didn't make a profile yet. Like, how can I check my information? So in that case, let's just say you, pardon me just a moment. Let's start screen sharing now.
All right.
So this is a donor that already has a gift and they are creating their profile for the first time to connect with their gift that they're currently giving. Again, just like before, they would enter their employee ID and they would click I'm not a robot, but this should be giving them a bit of a different window this time. So since I already have a profile on, it's got my name, my address, my donation amount and all that. It's just asking you to create an account. So we're not registering, we're just creating an account. So again, I'm going to enter my email address. That is not my work zip. My user ID, which is going to be btest22, since again, it does need to be a unique user ID, and I already used btest21 last time. Make sure you've got your password, and you click.
Are there special recognition, like requirements for the password? Does it have to have a capital, a lowercase?
It needs to be at least 4 characters. And it's always recommended, they always suggest to add in at least one special character, like an exclamation point or a question mark, and numbers, of course.
Right.
So it's always recommended uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. So I am going to click submit, make sure that I have my email address up. And again, make sure to check your spam. And I've got my PIN. So that will be 502359. And of course, if you don't get your PIN, you can click the resend button and it will attempt to send another email to your address. All right. So after you click, submit, then it sends you back to this page where you would just enter the information that you just did with your user ID and your password. All right, so since I'm a current donor, it says at the bottom, thank you for your existing donation of $192. It talks about the campaign year, which is the year that you made the pledge. So keep that in mind. You see it says campaign year 2020, but that's because this donor made the pledge in a previous year, and that's what they're paying out this year. So it even says the pledge amount, the number of deductions, and where it's going too. This is a pretty basic one. It's called the Clean Water Fund. I'm not certain if that's even an actual nonprofit, but just for demonstration purposes, we have that one called Clean Water Fund. So after you review all that information, you have 3 options. You would say, keep your current donation, send confirmation, and it would send an email to your address to say, hey, just to confirm this is what we got. And then you're set. You've made your profile. You can click that button and then sign off in the top right. What if you do want to change? You want to add something in, you don't want to give to that nonprofit anymore? You click the second button. And keep in mind, if you have multiple nonprofit designations and you want to get rid of one, you would still click the change current donation button.
Got it.
You don't want to click cancel, because if you'll see, and we're trying to make it as clear as possible, if you click this third button, cancel all donations, it will cancel everything. So if you're giving to 4 nonprofits, you will be giving to 0 if you click that button. So just make sure to keep in mind, if you just want to change one nonprofit or add something in, you always want to click the change current donation button. And if you do, it'll send us to that screen that we saw previous, where you had the 3 options of payroll deduction, one time, or I do not wish to give it this time. And those are your 3 main options for people that are creating a profile. Just really quick, the last thing I want to review is the buttons on the top that we have options for. So you can, of course, click donate now at any point in time where you are. It'll send you back to that main donation screen with the 3 options. You can click my donation screen and my donation history. That'll send you to this page here where you can see how much you've given and to who over the years. If you have any questions, anything that you don't want to directly ask about, but you want to inquire about, we've got the FAQs button right here. Then, of course, if you want to change any contact info, if you need to update your address or anything like that, you click profile on the top right. The very last button, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Just click sign off.
Great. And then you know you're secure, that you're logged off, and that no one else is jumping in to add nonprofits there.
No one else is.
Ben, I had one more question.
Yes.
Is there a limit to how many nonprofits you can give to? Can you give up to like 10?
You can give up to as many nonprofits as you'd like. We have a couple of donors that even give to over 15 nonprofits every month.
Wow.
And so you can just keep on adding in nonprofits if you want. Just make sure they're a minimum of $5 per month. If it's, a one-time gift, you can designate as many as well as you'd like. But yeah, there is no limit. You can give to any number of nonprofits.
And if folks have more questions, we do have a how-to guide that is on our website. The website is ourpromiseca.org. It's got step-by-step instructions that you can follow through. I find it easy because we keep it very visual. There are screenshots of what you can expect to see.
I'll share one last thing, and it will be exactly that. So this is a preview of what it looks like. And, you've got the 3 easy steps on how to join, screenshots of everything that we just went over. I didn't mean to take it away from you, Kyla. I just wanted to share this while you were speaking. So yeah, it's fantastic and it's super helpful. Please keep it as a reference if you're, letting your other employee folks know, like, okay, this is how you give. This is through the ePledge portal. If they're really curious and they just wanted to follow along with like this guide, feel free to share this information. And Kyla, where was it that you could find that again?
Ourpromiseca.org.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing that. I think that ePledge, it's something that we've been talking about for so long. It was under unfortunate circumstances, but that we were able to finally build and provide this tool for state employees like yourselves, because before, even with pledge forms, people would be kind of antsy. They didn't want their other state employees to see their donations or what they did. So we would even provide like these secure envelopes, and we'd have to send those all over the place. We don't have to do that anymore. You've got your own special link, your own secure site where you can check, change, and stop all your donations.
I can't even imagine how much paper we're saving, how many trees we're saving.
Well, we had to, by the state code that ran this campaign, we had to print 1 pledge form for each state employee. So we were printing about 300,000 pledge forms. We would receive over 100 boxes of pledge forms when we would work on distribution. Wow. So we're saving a lot.
Yes. Well, I'm happy to know that. And we are working together to recover, rebuild, and revive California. And I'd like to think that that's another little part of how we're doing so, is just
absolutely
making sure we're being more sustainable to our environment.
Absolutely. And I mean, if anything, there's nonprofits that are like, are you printing all these pledge forms all the time? And it's like, well, we have to, because the state wouldn't let us build a portal. So now that they did, I'm sure that there's a lot of folks, and especially a lot of nonprofits, that are very happy about that.
I am too. Well, if you've missed any of Ben's wonderful tutorial, this will be available on YouTube, and we'll also make sure a link will be on our website so you can watch it as many times as you need to. You can slow it down or rewind to follow along, and be sure to tune in. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and if you ever did have any other questions, I'm going to give you that email address one more time. It's our basic email address. It's ourpromiseca@uwccr.org.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Now,
Thank you very
next
much.
week, be sure to stay here with us on Facebook. We're going live again on Tuesday with Tech Bridge Girls. Tech Bridge Girls is a nonprofit that's headquartered in Oakland. Their mission is to design and deliver high quality STEM programs and learning experiences as they train educators to deliver unique programs to marginalized girls across the country. So don't miss it.
That sounds awesome.
Tune in with us. Yeah, tune in with us next week, next Tuesday, right here, same channel, same time. And again, if you miss any of this, it'll be available on demand. Again, Ben, thank you for the tutorial.
Thank you
We'll
very
see you
much,
all
Carla.
online. Thank you.
See you then.